with the light of the things you mentioned about North Korea actually needing acknowledgement so that they can continue their negotiations, do we expect an actual attack between the two Koreas in 2024?
Probably not, but the risk of accidents is always there, and the risk of a provocative action by North Korea that prompts or necessitates a South Korean response are always possible. The North Koreans have sunk South Korean boats or submarines in the past, so they've taken provocative actions. And again, if there's a provocative action by the North, and especially a military provocation, then the South is going to find it very difficult not to respond. Also keeping in mind that the current president of South Korea is really a hawk. He's a hardliner when it comes to North Korea issues, unlike his predecessor, who was more of the view that negotiation and reducing tensions are the way to go forward. So again, if there is some kind of accident or a provocation from the North, the South is very likely to have to respond.
Should we also expect a close ship? I'm not sure how to pronounce it, because North Korea do not do allies, but they have some communication with the outer world, and we expect them to have good communication with Russia and China in the upcoming months. So you said something important. You said that right now this comes as United States and China and Russia are in a bad situation. Although China and the U.S. were trying to find some resolution at the end of 2023, we're not seeing many positive signs as of right now. So do you expect a close partnership, allyship between Russia, North Korea, and China anytime soon?
Yeah, we're already seeing some signs of that. So some trade has resumed between North Korea and China across their shared border. There is a history of China really looking the other way on shipments that go into North Korea of oil or other goods. And it seems that after Kim visited Russia, that there's a new and strengthened relationship a bilateral relationship between North Korea and Russia, and possibly, as the United States believes, that North Korea is shipping lethal weapons to Russia for use in the war in Ukraine. So it's clear that North Korea's friendship with China and Russia has improved. And of course, that's very frustrating for the United States to the extent that it means existing sanctions are not being enforced by China and Russia.
Ross, lastly, I also would like to ask you about the earthquake that happened in Japan, because we are talking about the political stuff, but the nature stuff is quite important. Also, 7.6 magnitude, a earthquake that is so close to where you are. Also, the peninsula is close. And we know that it is going to have some effects on the regional actions as well. How is the situation?
Right now, people are really concerned about the possibilities for tsunamis. Although Japan, in recent hours, they've lowered the tsunami warning from the most major warning to a lower level of warning. But the possibility of tsunamis, as well as aftershocks over the coming days, is very, very real. And that's why the Japanese authorities, they continue to broadcast messages asking people near the coast in the affected areas to evacuate. And they're very, very clear that they want people to evacuate because the tsunami risk is very high, and frankly, it's very, very dangerous. And Japan learned that, unfortunately, with the 2011 earthquake and tsunami, which caused so much damage. So I think people in Japan are cognizant, and they're willing to listen. When the authorities say evacuate to higher ground because of tsunami risk, I think we'll see a high level of cooperation. And the risk of tsunamis and aftershocks in the coming days is very, very real.
Thank you so much for joining us, Ross. It was a pleasure having you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now we continue with our news. In a New Year's Eve address, Chinese President Xi Jinping declared the inevitable reunification with Taiwan, heightening tensions ahead of the island's elections.
President Xi Jinping says China's reunification with Taiwan is inevitable. Xi's comments, made during his New Year's Eve address, come just days before the South-ruled island heads to the polls to elect a new leader. In his speech, Xi said that compatriots on both sides of the Taiwan Strait must share in the glory of national rejuvenation. China has been ramping up military pressure to assert its sovereignty claims over Taiwan, which on January the 13th holds presidential and parliamentary elections. Taiwan's leader has been quick to respond to Xi's comments. President Tsai Ing-wen said that the island's relations with China must be decided by the will of the people, and peace must be based on dignity. China has cast the election as a choice between war and peace, and has refused multiple offers of talks by Tsai. While Taiwan's government has repeatedly warned China is trying to interfere in the vote, whether by using fake news or military or trade pressure. Beijing has taken particular exception to current Vice President Lai Ching-te, who is leading in opinion polls, saying he is a dangerous separatist.
We do not provoke or surrender. We have won the trust of the international community with unparalleled credibility and deepened cooperation with our democratic partners, allowing us to face the world confidently and firmly, and to face China confidently and calmly.
In a compelling show of unity, thousands scattered in Istanbul on Monday to passionately protest Israeli policies, spanning diverse backgrounds and expressing solidarity with the Palestinian people, calling for justice in the face of the escalating tensions in the Middle East.
In a powerful display of solidarity, thousands of people gathered in Istanbul in the early hours of the new year to protest against Israeli policies. The demonstrators, hailing from diverse backgrounds, joined together to voice their concerns and advocate for justice in the Middle East.
On October 7th, Israeli Nazism began one of the bloodiest massacres in history. It murdered hundreds of innocents and children every day. As it has been doing for decades, it continued to usurp the rights of our brothers and sisters in Palestinian lands and take their lives and property in a new dimension. The world stood by and watched this situation.
The protest commenced shortly after dawn, as participants converged at prominent landmarks in the city. Chanting slogans and carrying placards condemning Israeli actions, the demonstrators expressed their solidarity with the Palestinian people and called for an end to what they perceive as unjust policies. The protest comes at a time when tensions in the Middle East have been escalating, with recent events fueling global concerns. The participants in Istanbul's demonstration expressed their desire for a diplomatic solution and called on the international community to play a more active role in facilitating dialogue between conflicting parties.
We cannot remain silent about what is happening. We know that the murderers of the martyrs of our country in its fight against terrorism, the martyrs in Palestine and the murderers of the children are the same focus. We promise that we will not remain indifferent to these and will continue to shout for justice all over the world.
Security forces were present to ensure the peaceful nature of the protest. Despite the large turnout, the event remained orderly, and participants dispersed peacefully as the day progressed. The demonstration in Istanbul reflects the growing global awareness and concern regarding the ongoing conflicts in the Middle East. As the international community grapples with finding viable solutions to promote peace and stability in the region, events like these serve as a reminder of the importance of public engagement and activism in addressing complex geopolitical issues.
We know that those who caused the Palestinian genocide and the murderers of our martyrs are the same. We know that only when we are united will we be strong to stand against these oppressions.
Turkey has taken a leading role in humanitarian efforts in Gaza, providing critical medical aid and support, illustrating its dedication to global health and solidarity.
Amidst the aftermath of intense conflict in Gaza, Ankara has stepped forward to extend a helping hand, providing crucial medical aid and support. Since the commencement of Israel's devastating attacks on the Palestinian enclave earlier this year, the country has welcomed more than 290 wounded and sick individuals from Gaza for medical treatment. In addition, Ankara has dispatched 15 planes and a ship loaded with humanitarian aid to Gaza, including medical supplies, a fully equipped field hospital, 20 ambulances, generators, and essential living supplies. The country's commitment to delivering medical supplies, encompassing medications, equipment, and support teams, represents a critical endeavor to ease the strain on Gaza's overwhelmed healthcare system. As Ankara takes the lead in this health diplomacy initiative, it emphasizes the crucial role of health diplomacy in extending solidarity and humanitarian aid to regions in need, reaffirming its dedication to global health and well-being. This health diplomacy initiative underscores the importance of international cooperation and solidarity, highlighting the country's endeavor to play a pivotal role in alleviating the suffering of the people in Gaza and contributing to the rebuilding of its healthcare infrastructure. As Gaza faces the long road to recovery, the Turkish health diplomacy efforts emerge as a beacon of hope, illuminating the path to better healthcare and a brighter future for the people of Gaza.
The Palestinian Health Ministry has said that the total of Palestinians killed in the war has crossed 22,000, nearly 1% of the Gaza's population.
A young family with newborn quadruplets is living in a Gaza school classroom turned shelter with 50 other people after being displaced from their home as the war between Hamas and Israel rages on. Iman al-Masri was pregnant when the war began. The conflict forced Iman, her husband, and their 5 children to move 3 times. The family first moved from their home in the northern town of Beit Hanun to Jabalia refugee camp, and most recently to a school in Deir al-Balah, just days after she gave birth to 4 babies.
The atmosphere here was not suitable because of the smoke from the fire, the lack of bathrooms, and the lack of water. All of this had an impact on me, on the children who were in my womb, and on my young children. It was an atmosphere of pollution and filth, and they suffered from diarrhea and are still suffering from it.
Iman said she had to leave one of her newborns with her mother-in-law, as she was not able to take all 9 children with them.
There is a shortage of diapers, milk, and wet wipes are not available. All children's necessities are not available, including clothing, warmth, or a bed. The entire place is not suitable for children, and there is no money even to buy diapers, milk, or anything.
Today I have 4 children, 4 newborns who are 7 days old, and I am unable to provide a carton of milk, diapers, or even what their mother needs in terms of food, drink, and nutrition after the surgery.
The Palestinian Health Ministry has said that the toll of Palestinians killed in the war has crossed 22,000, nearly 1% of Gaza's population. Thousands more dead are feared to be buried or lost in the ruins.